Hi there, it's Suzy Greaves. I am editor-in-chief of the wonderful Psychologies magazine. Today we're doing a whole day about the idea of being stronger, how to be more resilient. We've got a fantastic day of broadcast planned. Hello everybody, welcome, nice to see you. I can see lots of people joining, so hello, say hi, give me some thumbs up. So today we're talking about resilience. We have joined forces with the wonderful people at Lionsgate who are bringing out the DVD Stronger, which is this very inspiring film about Jeff Bauman, who was one of the people who was injured in the Boston Marathon bombings. It's an incredible film. I cannot recommend it enough. So inspiring. Hi Umi, welcome. So we're doing a whole kind of theme around resilience, how to be stronger. We have got some great experts coming up throughout the day. We have the Sanctus crew. So the Sanctus crew are a brilliant new initiative in London who are on a mission to change the perception of mental health, and they're wanting to create mental health gyms up and down the country. So I think that's a brilliant idea. So Sanctus are going to be with us at lunchtime talking about that. So that's Jane Rutledge from Sanctus. So I hope you'll join his broadcast then. And then at the end of the day, we again have the most incredible guy who is coming to talk to us at 7:30. His name is Mark Omrod. He was a Marine and in Afghanistan in 2007, he lost both his legs and an arm when he stood on an explosive. And you would think when something so catastrophic happens that, well, I'm not sure what I would do, but he has turned his life around. He has become a motivational coach and speaker, and he'll be talking to us about 7:30 this evening, all about resilience and how to be stronger, and his best techniques really to create a new mindset to bounce back. Resilience is a huge subject that we love to explore at Psychologies. We wrote a book last year, we wrote several books last year, 5 books, but this is one of my favorites. This is Real Strength, Build Your Resilience and Bounce Back from Anything. So today, in today's broadcast, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the things not to do if you want to become more resilient, and some sort of questions and tips that we can use to become more resilient, to become stronger. The great news is we can learn to be stronger. We can learn to be stronger. So I just wanted to tell you, the other thing is, can you see Stronger? Ta-da! So Lionsgate have given us some posters that are signed by Jake Gyllenhaal, who's the actor who plays Jeff Bauman in the film, which is wonderful. So if you want to win these, there's a poster and a film. Just let me give you the film. All you have to do is enter the link at the bottom and enter the competition, and there'll be 3 lucky winners to win a poster and a film. Again, it's exploring the idea of resilience when the absolute worst happens to you, when your life as you know it is swept away, and then you have to start again. How do you do it? Again, it's a subject very close to my heart. When I was a teenager, I lost both my parents, so I had to cancer. And for me, it was a very, quite a steep climb to pull myself out of the fog of the world that I knew it had ended. And then I had to create a new life for myself. And for me, my story is like self-help and self-development and inspirational experts are the things that really helped me. They are the things that helped me to climb out of my hole and gave me the tools to learn how to be stronger, to be more resilient, to create the life that I really want. So in a very personal way, I am passionate about the idea of resilience and how we do it and how to be stronger. And so the day today, as I've said, is all about exploring this. So I just want to go, hello, everybody. Nice to see you. Suzy, hi, welcome. And we've got Nino, hello, from the Philippines. Hi. I love it that Psychologies, we have such a global audience. Welcome, everybody, to this broadcast today about how to be more resilient and how to be stronger, internally stronger. So I just wanted to touch before we start is this idea of what are the things that we do that might get in the way of making us stronger? Let me talk about the 5 things that you may be doing that stop you being stronger, that stop you being resilient. So we believe that our definition at Psychologies in our Real Strength book is very much about thriving versus surviving. So real strength to us is not just surviving an experience. It's about learning from it, growing and becoming better because of it. So it's when something terrible happens to us, or it doesn't even have to be terrible. It can just be a small thing, rather than us becoming embittered and sad and angry. And although there's all we need to feel all those feelings first, but it's about how do we learn from that? How do we find a way through which allows us to catapult ourselves into a new environment with new belief systems that make us feel, which give us a new way to navigate the world. Because often when something bad happens, it is challenging the way we see the world, the way we've got our belief system set up. You know, your husband may cheat, your wife may run off with someone else, somebody you love may get ill, they may die. You know, we're facing all of these catastrophic events in our lives all the time, and it really shakes any beliefs that, you know, I'll be okay, life treats me well. All of a sudden your life is shaken to the core, and then I don't know how to find I'm a great fan of the Buddhist nun Pema Chodron, and she talks about finding the ground beneath our feet. The idea of we're constantly looking for security and certainty. And she posits the idea that there is no certainty. And it's basically being able to be in the now with what's really happening. So often when we're trying to grab hold of a new reality, it can feel like we're grabbing hold of certainty. So I think the first piece is how not to be resilient is to avoid the whole thing. So something bad's happening, so to go into denial, which is, again, very natural. But when you're in denial, you can't face what's actually happening. We need to take a look at what is happening in your life, a kind of just a cold, in the light of day, look at what is happening in your life, why it's happening, and thinking, okay, and to acknowledge it rather than go to denial. Often, many of us, I don't know about you, I ran away for a long time from my grief. I had to be dragged kicking and screaming into a therapist's office to help me process my grief about my parents. So for you, what is it that you need to do rather than avoiding pain, rather than sort of saying, oh, no, I can't think about it now, although that is a great survival mechanism. But what can you do to start safely and in a gentle way, start acknowledging that the pain that you're in, be it, you know, working with a counselor, working with a therapist, to say, I feel terrible, and oh my God, and just to be able to say it out loud to somebody else, I think is one of the most healing things that we can do. So the first thing is the acknowledgement. So rather than avoiding, start to acknowledge what's happening to you and how you really feel. Another piece that we've done a lot of research around that will really hamper you is the idea of rumination. So rumination is when you go over and over and over, you brood about something, and this happened, and that's not fair, and it's not good, and da, da, da. So when you're brooding and ruminating, I think the research shows it's about one of the biggest indicators of depression, anxiety, if you're going over and over and over things. So rumination, not good. Being able to actually distract yourself in the moment from going there, or to finding a new story to tell. Finding a new, so instead of saying, oh, this happened and they're against me, or all men cheat, or all women leave, or whatever story that you're telling yourself, It's, you know, going round and round. Rumination is all about going round and round and round, and it doesn't make you feel any better. It just makes you feel worse. So what new story can you tell? We've got a whole dossier about this next, which is all about telling a new story, creating a new story. So finding out what your current story is. This bad thing's happened to me. People I love will leave me. I will be abandoned. Whatever the story is you've got going, and then thinking, okay, I acknowledge that story. That story is causing me a lot of pain. Let me create a new story to tell about what's happening. So that is a really great way to go from surviving to thriving. So rumination is the biggest indicator for depression and anxiety. So ruminating, so if you notice that you're, so again, the whole thing is self-awareness, and noticing when you're ruminating, going round and round and round, the same old story does not help. Find a new story to tell. Even if it's just like, it's possible that I will find a new job. You know, being made redundant is not great. It's possible that there's new opportunities. This could be a gateway into a whole new world. I could learn new things. It's very difficult when you're feeling down and anxious to come up with a new story, but it's being able to get help, find a coach or a counselor or a therapist or a best friend, or get a group of best friends you've got and just say, come on, help me come up with a new story. Find a new way to think, a new story, or get the next Psychologies, which we've got a whole dossier on how to do this, which is really great. And again, what you'll see in the film, I mean, I'm a great believer in kind of film therapy. You know, when we see a film and it just inspires us. I mean, Lord of the Rings is one of my favorite films. So when I'm feeling a bit low and a bit scared and going I've got to watch the Lord of the Rings, because it's about the hobbits. I always think of myself as a little bit of a hobbit going through life, and, you know, being tempted by all of these things, by ego stuff, and ooh, you could have this, and then going and being pure and sticking to your values, which is another big piece around thriving, not just surviving. Hi Claire, I'm just saying hello. Advice and your words are empowering, great, and so motivational for change, great, I'm glad. Hello Joseph, welcome. Hello Janet, welcome as well. Just saying hello to the people who are joining us on this broadcast. So we talked about rumination, self-sabotage. I don't know if anybody has that self-sabotage. For me, I think wine has always been my downfall. So when I'm wanting to block you know, emotions or feeling bad, often I would pour too many glasses of wine. So for you, what is your usual method of self-sabotage? And we're not saying it's bad, it's just notice it. Notice how you self-sabotage and think, okay, instead of self-sabotaging, what can you do differently? What are some actions that when you're in the moment, when you're being really, really knocked by life, and you would go, it's normally food or drink or smoking or drugs or whatever it is to numb pain. Normally that's all we're trying to do, is numb pain, is find a new way to self-soothe. How can you self-soothe? How can you feel better in a healthier way? So I just joined the gym, which is very exciting. I never really got the gym before. I'm more of a yoga girl. I do yoga, but I've joined the gym, and because people are talking about feel good endorphins, I said, okay, I'll try it. And it's a great gym because I go along and everyone's dressed in very scruffy clothes. It's not a posh gym, and it's great. And I've been going to these classes and I've been starting to feel much, you know, more stronger and healthier and well. So for you, what could you do that will fire those feel good endorphins in your body, rather than reaching for something that's going to make you feel bad? What can you do to reach out to make, you know, to comfort yourself, to look after yourself? When we're going through, compassion is a huge part of this process. We're talking about two of the things that will absolutely guarantee you to make you feel weaker, not stronger, are guilt and blame. So we may feel guilty. You might be the person who left the relationship, for example. You may be the one who are taking the family across to a different country, and you're feeling guilt. Or you want to blame your ex for running off with it, blah, 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 or you want to blame somebody else for your misfortunes. And guilt and blame, they're brother and sister of the same kind of emotion. And all that does is it disempowers you. It disempowers you. So the one thing we talk a lot about in our Stronger book is this idea of compassion. And not only compassion for yourself, but also compassion for other people, and trying to get into other people's shoes about why they might do that or why they might behave like that. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but it will help you even if you can just have compassion for yourself. What you're going through at the moment isn't possible, and it's really hard. And to send yourself as much love and care as possible. We were with Dr. David Hamilton, who's our kindness czar at Psychologies, at an event recently, and he gave us a wonderful meditation around the loving kindness meditation, which is the most scientifically studied meditation in the world, I believe, around compassion. And it's about sending yourself love, your loved ones love, neutral people love, people who don't really like love, and sending love out to the world. And if you do this as a practice once a day, not only will it make you feel better, but also it will improve your immune system and really affect the way you see the world. So that as a loving kindness meditation, look it up. There's millions of things free on YouTube. Do try it, see how it feels, or go to see one of Dr. David Hamilton talk, because he's very compelling. He uses a lot of the compelling evidence around why that would work. So having compassion for yourself and for others, that's a little bit harder, on this journey really, really helps. So let's just recap what I'm talking about here. So we've got how not to be stronger is to avoid our feelings. So I think the first thing is to be able to acknowledge how you're really feeling, not having to put a brave face on it, but to have a little space in therapy or in counseling or even with a good friend. Sometimes I think it's really good to have a trained listening ear for this kind of thing. I mean, the Samaritans are brilliant also, but it's just to be able to acknowledge your pain and not run away from it and just say, which is a very, very scary step. I used to think I would be destroyed by my feelings of grief. So that's why I ran away for so long. It was my survival mechanism to run away. But as soon as I start to acknowledge them, I realize actually I'm not destroyed by this. I can survive. I can do this. So don't avoid your feelings, acknowledge them. Rumination, when you find yourself going round and round and round with the same old story, find a new story. So we've got, in our next month's issue, we've got a whole dossier around finding a new story if you need some help with that, or help get friends, read autobiographies. I mean, we've got Jeff Bauman, who is the subject of this film. He has written a book called Stronger, all about his journey when he lost both of his legs in the Boston bombing at the marathon. It's so moving, and you learn how he created a new story for himself in the worst of circumstances, really in the worst of circumstances. And then this evening, I mean, be incredibly inspired by Mark Ormond, who is an ex-Marine, who again lost both legs and an arm in the Afghanistan conflict, and now has reinvented himself as a motivation coach, and he'll be talking at 7:30 this evening. So again, look at the new stories that they're telling themselves. I mean, you know, when we're going through stuff, I feel really inspired by if these guys can create a new story when the most catastrophic thing has happened, then I certainly can. I feel very inspired by their stories. So, you know, the first thing, watch the film, great. And just the last point was about guilt and blame. When you're feeling guilty or when you're wanting to blame someone else, so much fun. Step back, just step back, because all it does, it keeps you in that circle. Step back and start thinking about how can you have compassion for yourself on your journey, and how can you have compassion for other people. It's difficult if you've been left in a relationship or you're struggling but with a boss or somebody who's really creating a lot of pain in your life. It's like, how can you have compassion for them? How can you stand in their shoes and try and understand it from their point of view? It helps to kind of move your story on. So those are the sort of 5 things I wanted to talk about today about how to be stronger. You can win the Stronger film, and also a signed poster signed by Jake Gyllenhaal. And we've got 3 of those to give away. So if you want to just apply, I'll put a link below and you can apply. But stay with us all day. So at lunchtime, we have the wonderful people at Sanctus coming to talking about mental health and how to be resilient. And they're wanting to put a mental health gym on every high street. I love their vision, I really do. And then do not miss tonight Mark Allman talking about his journey where he lost both of his legs and an arm as a Marine in Afghanistan, and how he created a new story and reinvented his life, and now is a motivational speaker. Be very inspired. So thank you for joining me today. Lovely. Hi, Jeffrey. Thank you very much. Do watch the film, or come and get a free one from Psychologies by entering the competition. Lots of love, everybody. Have a great day. I hope you be inspired by everything that we're doing. Bye-bye.